Hi you guys, welcome to your April 2025 monthly forecast. Before I begin, I have to apologize if I sneeze, cough, or lose my voice. Okay, with the weather going up and down here the way it is, I either have a cold or allergies or both at the same time. So please excuse me, okay? And thank you so much to my subscribers for your continued support, for your likes, shares, and comments. If you're new to my channel and you like this video, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. You'll be notified each time I upload something. There's also links in the description box below. There is one to my website where you can see some of the services that I offer, but you can also just email me. That email address is also in the description box, and it's easier to just ask me if there is something that I do. Okay? Also, check out my weekly forecast, which is now daily shorts, and I'm going to do something a little different this month with the monthly forecast. Okay, for those of you who seem to really love the shorts, the monthly forecast will always exist as a regular video, but some of you are still not aware that there's a link within the short video to the full monthly forecast, and you're just clicking on that short and you're just getting just a snippet of the monthly forecast. You're not hearing the whole thing. So for those of you who love the shorts, okay, I'm going to break it down into parts, the monthly forecast for you. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Maybe, after a while, you'll just, decide to click on the link and listen to it fully, the full monthly forecast all in one video. But if you prefer the shorts, that's what I'm going to try this time. We'll see how it works out, okay? So, now for your forecast. Hi, Aquarius. So, okay, well, we've still got, the month starts off still with Venus and Mercury in Pisces in your second house of earned income and possessions. Okay, this is how you earn your money. One of the main money houses. Okay, and Saturn is still here. Neptune just briefly moved into Aries, into your third house. It'll be here over the summer, but it will eventually move back into Pisces. Saturn will also briefly be moving into Aries over the summer, but again, we'll both planets will move briefly back into Pisces to finish up their transit there, and then they'll fully move into Aries like next year. Okay, so you won't have that many problems, let's say, or things to deal with in regards to money. Money and finances, possessions, earning money, things like that. A lot of times when Saturn is in the second house, it does bring like a layoff, from work, or money dries up in some way or other. Your finances become very restricted. Okay, so having Venus and Mercury here, though, these are very nice planets to have here. Okay, no matter in direct or retrograde motion. Okay, but like I said, this month Mercury's direct in Pisces on the 7th and moves into Aries on the 16th into your third house, and then Venus turns direct on the 12th and it is here fully, okay, until the 30th, and it moves into Aries. So it's here like all month period. Venus does attract things, okay? Venus-related things too, like money and luxury items and objects and art and stuff like that, okay? So, you could even be getting a very belated birthday gift or a just because gift, okay? But, so, your money has been a little bit better, a little bit maybe steady, not like a big windfall or anything like that, but it has been manageable, with these two planets here, Venus and Mercury. So Mercury, though, does kind of bring, it's a timer. in astrology. So maybe there was money that was due you, period, no matter what, right? And it, maybe it's finally showing up. Jupiter is in Gemini, and you have Gemini on the 5th house of speculation and gambling, and many, many other things, okay? This is the house of creativity and romance, children, anything fun, so you may have actually, made a really good guess, or speculated on something, either yourself, as far as creativity goes, a project possibly that you have, or an actual gamble, an investment of some kind that you made, even if that investment is at a slot machine at a casino, okay? Or the lottery, just buying a scratch-off ticket, something or other, but you should have had a little bit of an increase in income, okay? So, the sun is in Aries, though, up until the 19th in your 3rd house. Like I said, Venus and Mercury will be moving back here. Neptune just moved here. 3rd house is your everyday life. The people and places you would encounter throughout the normal course of your day, like your neighbors, anyone in your neighborhood. This is also the house of your siblings and cousins. All forms of communication, okay, including regular postal mail and local travel, which is kind of like a day trip, an overnight trip, or a weekend trip, okay, but it's nearby and it's usually a road trip, okay. So, Venus and Mercury have already been here. Like I said, they've been moving back and forth between Pisces and Aries, so it's back here again. Maybe you did already take a day trip somewhere, or, whatever, or a little weekender, and now that these planets are back here again, maybe you're going to go either on another trip or go visit the same place you just visited. Something or other, but you could have an increase in any kind of communication, especially regular postal mail, and this is a time where you could be getting good news. And it could come through any way, text message, something in the mail that you receive in the mail, just a conversation possibly that you have with a neighbor or someone that you run into while you're out running errands. Somebody could just bestow upon you some kind of good news, okay? And Neptune here, you probably won't feel the effects of this. It's in such low degrees. But it does bring a little bit of, a little bit of deception in a way to your neighborhood or to your neighbors, or something that someone is telling you, okay? Whatever, you'll figure it out, okay? There's a full moon on the 12th in Libra in your 9th house. It's directly across from your 3rd house. 9th house is long distance travel and communications, okay? And higher learning, media and publishing, foreign countries, languages, people, all kinds of stuff. So you could receive some kind of, communication around that full moon on the 12th. It could be regarding anything. 9th house is also legal matters, so maybe you were waiting to hear about something. Just because Neptune has just moved into the 3rd house, and like I said, it's really not all that effective right now, but I would still take into consideration any kind of communication I had that sounded like bullshit to me, okay, because it probably is. So if you're receiving something in the mail that looks real impressive, real important, and legitimate, it could be just some way to like get you to act on something that you don't really, that you can probably just ignore. So just keep that in mind. However, you could receive some kind of phone call even from somebody, and it could be pretty important, but I don't see it being too earth-shaking, okay? Now, the sun moves into Taurus on the 19th in your 4th house. That's where you have the sign of Taurus. There's also a new moon here on the 27th. Your 4th house is your home life, your private life. your family, where you physically live, and the property surrounding it, your past, your childhood, the foundation of how you were raised, okay? So the planet Uranus is still here. We'll briefly be moving into Gemini in July, I believe. And your fifth house, so some of these planets are moving for just a little bit. You may notice a difference and you may not, okay? But anyways, this new moon here will bring a new beginning in your home life. Some kind of change possibly that you've been wanting to make, or if you've been living with a disruptive person or under disruptive conditions, or where, what I mean is you never know what the hell's going to happen next, one of those kind of living situations. It should, eventually that will go away, okay? And for now, I believe it's starting already to settle down, or things around that new moon especially are in a way going the way you want them to. Whatever you wanted to happen within your home life or your family or something or other would get a new start on that new moon of the 27th. Okay, now Mars is moving into Leo on the 18th. It's still in Cancer and your sixth house up until that point. The sixth house being the workplace, the kind of work that you do, your work schedule, your co-workers, your house of health, and your house of service to others. So Mars has been going back and forth between Cancer and Leo, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so now they're in direct motion. When Mars leaves Cancer, it moves into Leo. Then eventually it will move into Virgo, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, Mars in the sixth house means that you've taken on extra work of some kind, or you are pursuing your own line of work, your own business. Perhaps you're making money from a hobby that you have, or just some other kind of skill that you have that maybe other people don't. And hopefully that will become your new line of work or your new profession. At least that's what you have in mind anyway. Okay, so when Mars moves into Leo, like I said, it's already been here before. Leo is your opposite sign. When Mars is in the seventh house of close relationships and partnerships, right? Whether they're business, romantic, or friendship. This is also the house of open enemies and competition. So Mars is an aggressive planet. When it is in the seventh house, people come at you a lot more aggressively than they normally do. Okay, within your close relationships. It could even, though, be an open enemy that's already been, in play anyways, when Mars, like I said, has been going back and forth between these signs. So you've already had to deal with this. This is the one last time for this year anyway. With possibly an open enemy, just pushing your buttons, trying to get you to act up, preferably in public, whatever. Okay, or it could be within one of your close relationships, someone trying to coerce you even into doing something that maybe you don't want to do. For a business partner, this would be someone trying to get you to sign on the dotted line. Not a good idea with Neptune again in that third house. Seventh house is contracts, but third house is also contracts, and it's the actual writing of one. A signature even, signing. Okay, so, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, right? By now you've learned how to fend these people off. You also have Pluto in your own sign, which makes you very, let's see, intense, more or less. Okay, but people know not to mess with you. Okay, after a while they will. Pluto's only been here for a little while, but after a while people will know not to mess with you. And this is like one of those times, though, you can't be bought, you can't be forced into doing anything you don't want to do. And that even goes in romance and friendship. You may have a romantic partner that's either trying to get you to settle down or move in with them, or change something. change something that, why should you change it, right? Who even knows if they're going to work out, right? If it's going to pan out, okay? Something like that, okay? So you have already experienced this. You know how to handle it. It'll be gone soon enough, okay? The best time to do something each month is when the moon is in your own sign, and the moon is in Aquarius on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. The best time to lay low is when the moon is in your opposite sign, and your opposite sign is Leo, and those days are the 6th, 7th, and 8th. The best time for romance, recreation, creativity, fun, gambling or speculation, and anything to do with children is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 16th, 17th, 18th, 29th, and 30th. Did I say, the best time to lay low, sorry about that, is when the moon is in Leo, okay? And those dates are 6th, 7th, and 8th. Sorry about that. Short-term memory, Okay, the best time for money is the 8th, 9th, and 10th, 23rd, and 24th. The best time for your career is the 13th, 14th, and 15th. And the best time for communication and travel is the 11th, 12th, 13th, 25th, and 26th. So I hope you enjoyed your forecast for April. Be sure to check out my weekly forecast, which is now daily shorts. See ya!